All right, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. So we're holding this event in the middle of what's already proving to be another record-breaking Arizona summer. Just yesterday, we experienced the hottest day of the year so far. Phoenix hit 118 degrees, breaking the daily high temperature record. That kind of relentless heat is more than just uncomfortable. It's dangerous. And it's exactly why today's conversation is so critically important. So it's my honor to introduce Congressman Greg Stanton. As the former mayor of the city of Phoenix, he's experienced more than a few brutal Arizona summers, and he knows firsthand how important it is to protect those who work in the heat. In Congress, he founded the bipartisan Extreme Heat Caucus and is working to advance a National Extreme Heat Awareness Week in early July to help bring national attention to staying safe during high temperatures. So once again, it's now my privilege to welcome Congressman Greg Stanton.
I thank you, Mayor, for putting this together, this important information about extreme heat in the community. We're going to have a good discussion about what I'm doing in Congress and what the city of Tempe, who is leading the way here locally. Councilmember Keating and Hodge, thank you for your leadership. I'm really proud of the city of Tempe and the actions that they have taken. In Arizona, we know that extreme heat is incredibly dangerous. Late last month, more than 100 million Americans around the country across 26 states were under extreme heat advisories, just like we are here in Arizona now, from New England to the heartland and obviously here in our community. This issue about the impact of extreme heat on our health and our infrastructure and our quality of life, it is not going away. In fact, it is getting worse as the climate warms. Right when we need officials at all levels of government taking real, meaningful steps to save lives, the Trump administration is moving in exactly the wrong direction. This is not a partisan issue. This is just my strong feelings about the direction that the current administration is taking. Federal employees, researchers, public health experts, administrators of grant programs have been caught up in mass firings by the current administration. Experts on heat safety at the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health were abruptly fired. They do incredible research on how Americans can best protect themselves or their employees from the heat. That research informed the city of Tempe's Worker Protection Ordinance, which we are here today to celebrate. At the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Division of Environmental Health and Safety and Practice, all 200 employees researching how climate change and extreme weather harm public safety were fired. Restructuring at the Department of Health and Human Services eliminated the staff of the Low-Income Housing Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, which helps Arizona families pay their air conditioning bills during the worst of the summer heat. Congress promised them that help, and it is unforgivable to let people's power shut off during one of the hottest summers on record. And across the federal agencies, the Department of Labor, Energy, Interior, research on climate change and extreme weather has been trashed. Every day, I'm hearing about grants and projects focused on resilience, heat mitigation, and public health that were canceled because they were part of the so-called Green New Deal. This will set back our ability as Americans to understand and tackle the impacts of extreme weather by decades. Now, I lead the Congressional Subcommittee on Emergency Management. It's clear to me that the dismantling of the National Weather Service, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA as we call it, and the Federal Emergency Management Administration, FEMA, will only make it harder to prevent extreme heat disasters. These agencies collaborated on critical heat tracking programs like the National Integrated Heat Health Information System, which was led by top researchers here at Arizona State University and the University of Arizona, by the way. Their mission was to raise public awareness of extreme heat and its dangers. And as Republicans in Congress carry out Trump's budget cuts, we stand to lose even more. We're going to lose on education, on how to stay safe from the heat. That program, gone. Dollars that keep families' air conditioning on, gone. Early warning systems for heat waves, gone. Arizona's going to feel the impact worse than anywhere else. It was 100 degrees in April this year, and as the mayor mentioned, just yesterday, we hit another record, a early morning low of 93 degrees. That was the low temperature all day yesterday, and of course, an afternoon high of 118 degrees, making it one of the hottest days on record in our history. Arizona has always been hot, but we're seeing unbelievably high temperatures even at night for days on end. We've lost more than 600 lives in Maricopa County just last year due to extreme heat. It may have been more. That's just the ones we know about. That's a huge, we saw more than 6,000 heat-related hospitalizations statewide. That's a huge impact on our workforce and on our economy. Without a strong federal and local leadership on extreme heat, we'll be facing our hotter reality without critical resources. That's why I launched the Extreme Heat Caucus earlier this year in Congress. We are championing smart bipartisan actions to combat extreme heat. Things like making sure low-income families can pay for their air conditioning in the summer by protecting the LIHEAP program, unlocking emergency dollars from FEMA for local communities to better prepare for and respond to extreme heat, directing FEMA to develop better guidance for communities during extreme temperatures, building roads and bridges that can handle longer, hotter temperatures. Infrastructure resiliency and extreme heat go hand in hand. We need to do more at the federal level. And of course, protecting America's outdoor workforce from deadly heat exposure. We're focused on making sure Americans are better prepared for deadly heat and temperatures, not just in Arizona and the Southwest, but all across the country. I'm leading the effort with the Extreme Heat Caucus to designate National Extreme Heat Awareness Week. Today happens to be the last day of the very first Extreme Heat Awareness Week nationwide. Nationwide heat deaths peak in early July. It's such a critical time to educate Americans on how to stay safe in high temperatures. It's time governments at all levels begin to take more seriously the health and safety risks posed by extreme heat. And the city of Tempe is leading the way. They're leading by example with what they did recently with the passage of the Worker Protection Ordinance. City employees working outside are now guaranteed shaded breaks, water, and safety training. This keeps Arizonans safe and reduces health risks down the line like kidney disease and lower chances of developing heat stroke. So I want to say, as a Congress member representing this area, I applaud this work, I congratulate them, and it's a model for how other cities can deal with this issue. So I applaud Mayor Woods, Council members Keating and Hodge, and the entire City of Tempe team for getting this important ordinance done. Cities, counties, states around the country are looking to follow in your footsteps. So now I want to turn it over to my friend and a real champion on the issue of extreme heat mitigation, Councilmember Keating.
Thank you very much, Congressman. Thank you all for being here this morning. I'm very happy to be here to talk about our Worker Protection Ordinance. As the mayor and congressman pointed out, the summers in Arizona have getting longer and hotter every single year. Yesterday, of course, being another record-breaking day here in the Valley. I'm so proud that Congressman Stanton is taking this issue federally, because while extreme heat is certainly an Arizona problem, it's not a problem unique to Arizona. And these are serious concerns that we can address, as Tempe has, through some common sense changes in policy and certain worker protections. Other cities around the valley, the state, have adopted heat relief protections for their workers, but I'm very proud that Tempe's is the most robust in the state. Tempe's ordinance is unique in that it mandates that cool drinking water and shade must be provided within reasonable distance of a working site. A car or a shipping container that is shaded does not count for cooling. They would have to be air conditioned to meet that requirement. Mandatory 10-minute breaks are required every 2 hours when we have a heat advisory event. And our contractor's heat safety plan must be checked by city procurement staff ahead of time before awarding any sort of contract for workers in the city. City departments also create their own heat safety worker plans, and whistleblower protections are extended to both city and contract workers under this ordinance. So I'm very proud of the common sense solutions that we have here in Tempe have taken to mitigate extreme heat. We all know what it's like to be hot. And as Congressman Stanton pointed out, the number of deaths in Maricopa County from heat-related incidents have gone up an order of magnitude since 2014. This is obviously unacceptable, and as we work to combat global climate change further, this is just a small step in an overall plan and an overall mission to protect the people that are outside for their work every day from the extreme heat environment that we're seeing that continues to only get worse. So thank you, Councilmember Hodge, for your work on this as well, and everyone else that played a role. I would like to introduce Adrian Martinez. He leads our Tempe solid waste crew that collects bulk trash. It's an essential job for our city that doesn't get to stop just because of extreme weather or a longer and hotter summer. So Adrian, please. Excuse me.
Hello, my name is Adrian Martinez. I work solid waste bulk collections. I appreciate City of Tempe and the leadership for making the right steps in the right direction and protecting us out there. It is hot, especially right now. We got the humidity along with the heat, so it's extremely tough on us out there as city workers. But we try to manage and get through the day.
Short and sweet, that's perfect.
Absolutely. I'd like to welcome also my other council colleague here, Councilmember Berdetta Hodge.
Thank you, Mayor Woods. And also, I want to thank you so much, Congressman. We could not do it without you on a federal level. So you're a great partner, and I love working with you every day on every issue.
I gotta hang out here more often. There you go.
I am very proud to support the City of Tempe in the heat ordinance. This is a essential and timely effort to protect our health and safety for our outdoor workers. It's important to access water and shade during breaks and advisories. An annual training and protection for whistleblowers reflect both compassion and good policy. This ordinance goes beyond just rules. It's a truly valued people. I commend the City of Tempe and my fellow council members for taking this important step. I also want to say that on the side of the governing board, it has empowered our students to want to do more with heat ordinance around. They have came to us and said, we love the fact that the City of Tempe is doing this. What can we do to help and make sure that we sustain our future in the same aspects that you guys are doing in Tempe? So I just thank you guys so much, and we will continue to move forward to do what's best for the City of Tempe. As I always say, our footprints never fade from the lives we touch. So everybody, let's go out and touch some more lives. And I'll pass it back over to Mayor Woods. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hodge. Once again, thank you very much, Adrian, Congressman Stanton, and Councilmember Keating for being here. We now have time for about a couple of questions, so I guess I'll look to folks in the press corps. If you've got a couple of questions you might want to ask any of us up here.
How many Tempe employees is this going to affect, and who are, in addition to you, so who are the employees who are going to be most impacted?
Well, we've got a lot of employees who are, frankly, I don't have an exact number. We have tons of employees who are still doing essential jobs each and every day. We obviously have our solid waste teams, a lot of folks in water utilities. We obviously have police officers and firefighters and people who obviously don't have the ability to work indoor jobs. They're out every single day on the streets, frankly, picking up trash, making sure the residents of the City of Tempe have safe drinking water and safe water to bathe in, and obviously performing essential public safety features. So the fact of the matter is all of those employees are the folks that I know Councilmember Keating and Councilmember Hodge had in mind when they worked so diligently to, frankly, craft this ordinance. And I know those are exactly the employees that Congressman Stanton has in mind when he's working on a federal level to make sure that those folks are protected during some of the most hot days of the year. Yes.
Stanton, just wondering what the conversations have looked like in Congress. I know recently with the Texas floods, there's already been some disagreements about how emergency response has been handled or the planning beforehand. Just what have those conversations look like for heat now as well?
Yep. Well, the facts are the facts. And here's the situation. With regard to the horrific flooding that has occurred in Kerr County, the ongoing attempts to find the victims, still over 100 people missing. I'm a father of a teenage daughter. I mean, I just can't imagine what the families are going through who sent their children away to camp and never came home. It's horrific. So I know I speak on behalf of all of us that our hearts go out to them. But That being said, where is the FEMA administrator? Administrator Richardson. He's been nowhere to be found. He's not been on scene in Kerr County. He hasn't done a single press conference. He hasn't briefed members of Congress as to the situation. CNN reported yesterday that Secretary Noem of Homeland Security, which obviously FEMA is a part of, she's insisting that she personally approve every contract $100,000. Well, what that resulted in is a delay in the search and rescue teams from FEMA getting on the ground in Texas until Monday, 3 days after the horrific flood. In emergencies, in weather-related emergencies, minutes matter, hours matter. They were 3 days late to begin their effort. They've taken the approach that all emergencies, weather-related emergencies, hurricanes, floods, even in Arizona, extreme heat, which is a natural disaster just like any other. It's a slow-moving natural disaster, but the extreme heat and the deadly cost of it, over 600 of our fellow citizens dying each of the last 2 summers, is a natural disaster. They believe that that should all be borne by localities and states, that the federal government should no longer have responsibility for that. It's tragically ironic because the entire point of the federal emergency management system is to help out local communities and states when an emergency goes beyond their capacity. The whole point of it is to lead with localities first, but then the federal government comes in and supports them through the federal emergency disaster declarations to help out when it goes beyond that. We owe that to our fellow Americans. And this administration is trying to advocate all responsibility for that. Obviously, I'm very much opposed to it. And what they're also advocating is the grant programs to Tempe and other localities to do planning in advance of these efforts so that they can better deal with national emergencies when they occur. If you get rid of the planning grants and the planning opportunities, our communities are going to be in worse shape when natural disasters occur. So you can see I'm pretty frustrated and angry about the current administration's response to eliminating FEMA, the cuts that have been made to the National Weather Service, which is so desperately needed in planning for these horrific events. And oh, by the way, terrible for our economy, because guess who relies on the National Weather Service more than anybody else? Agriculture, our farmers that result that we're eliminating key, hundreds of key positions in these agencies that help us deal with that. That's a step in the wrong direction.